comfortable for you, but I doubt it. Anyway, Mike Watt, welcome to London.
Hey, good to see you. Yes.
I think last time you were here, you came here with your trio from Italia, who are
It's
actually,
not mine, I'm a member.
well, yeah, it's not your trio, but the trio. And you played somewhere else in town, but you're playing here tonight, or tomorrow. The trio is playing here tomorrow, which is cool. We were just listening to Cosmic Slop.
Yeah.
What were you saying about that song? You knew something about that song?
Yeah, well, the guy's mom's a prostitute, right?
Well, is that the story?
I don't know.
Where'd you hear that?
I think music's for pretending. John Fogerty, very Northwest Bayou.
But John
About 1,500 miles.
Fogerty, it was like a Pacific Northwest USA kind of thing.
I don't know.
But he was always
referencing.
referencing music from like the Southeast, like Tennessee and Louisiana. That was his trip. What?
Yeah, but in Chicago, when he's doing the Boyden, I think for sure he's doing Howlin' Wolf. And not so much Northwest, but El Cerrito? Sereno? It's by Berkeley, so maybe in the middle of them. But yeah, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Where are you from?
Virginia.
You've lived in California most of your life, but that's not
50 years.
That's not where you were born, though.
No, Virginia. Lived there twice.
50 years. That means you were 10.
No, I was 9 when I came, but I'm 10 now.
And
I was fucking with
you're 60 next month.
December 20th.
December 20th, you're 60.
I beat you.
Yeah, you did. By a few months, yes. Do you have any big plans?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a gig.
Okay. That's Mike, Mike's the one who actually, any of us who've grown up with Mike, we kind of grew up together for the last 30 years, more or less. He's the one who came up with probably the most significant dictum that we all have. Is like, when you're not playing, you're paying. And that's what we tell everybody on days off. Like, don't you feel good that you have a day off? And say, well, you're not playing, you're paying.
Yeah. Probably the vaudeville people explored that before I got to.
Yeah. I didn't say you were the first, but. How did you discover, we were talking about John Fogerty,
Yeah.
How did you discover, well, his music, obviously the radio, I guess, but what
A little bit, but it was really hammered into me
and why did that connect with
by
you?
an experience of this guy jumped out of a tree on me.
D. Boone.
Right, and he only rock band he had ever heard was Creed's. He had all 6 of those records. The 7th one's not a real Creed's record, but he had the 6. And yeah, so I had to learn every song.
So he turned you on to Creedence?
No. Yeah, but it was on the radio, you're right. They made those 6 records between 68 and 70. 3 years they made 6 albums.
What was in your record collection before you met D. Boone?
Yeah.
What was it, your record?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
What? I mean, yes?
No, I had more than one rock and roll record.
You had some records?
I had other rock bands. He only knew one.
Oh, you knew one?
Pop was way into Buck Owens and,
Yeah.
I had, first record I bought, 45, was American Woman, I guess, who, a Canadian band. Then this thing came on, was 8 tracks.
Right.
And there was, if you sent in a dime to the Columbia Club,
Yeah.
right, they would send you 10 and then 1 a month. You have to send it back or pay for it.
Yeah.
So I had, there was an anthology of Cream. I was into anthology of Who. They would put these things.
Like best ofs.
Yeah, right. Of course, there was Doors and there was Jimmy. And I was aware of a lot of stuff. Alice Cooper.
Were you thinking you were going to be playing, listening to this stuff? Like,
No,
this is
no.
what I want to do?
No. What happened was his mother said we were going to be in a band. So we would, because I had to move from the Navy housing to projects. I popped out to see if she'd help, but John Fogerty down on that Alameda. She said, fuck this moving shit, we're staying in Pedro. So we moved to a project that was just built called Park Western Estates. And he was an older one called Park Western. And it was 1970, right? So there's not a lot of guns. There's fighting and stuff. So she wanted us in the house after school. And that was the idea of the band. She played guitar, so her son played guitar. And she said, "I banged her bass." Now, I didn't know really what a bass was. In the pictures, it looked like a guitar. It just had 4 strings. So, okay. And problem was those Creedence records.
You couldn't really hear the bass.
That's right. And especially with like,
yeah,
coated with grape juice. And we used didn't use the record covers to protect the records in this hardwood floor. And the record players, very econo, you have to put like 8 quarters to keep it from skipping. So I couldn't hear, but on the cover, I noticed the singer's shirts.
You noticed what?
The singer's shirts.
Oh, the shirts. The
shirt. Yeah, well, you got different one on different records. They were all flannels.
We're going to talk fashion now.
Yeah. That's how I got into him. I thought if I wore the singer's shirts, he would still like me. And I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on.
I think a lot of musicians start that way.
Well, Mark Bolan had, the first gig we went to was T-Rex, and he had a boa. So I thought that was his rock and roll shirt.
Oh, I see.
I didn't know lumberjacks and farmers, maybe housing. So.
When did you see T-Rex?
It was the Slider.
The Slider tour.
When you open, it's all orange. Yeah.
But you must have
Long Beach Auditorium.
But you must have been like 16 years old or something.
No. 16 was California Jam.
The California Jam.
$6.50.
The California Jam was a huge, important festival in the early 70s.
I never went to another one after that. I played with the Stooges. Yeah, this was at Long Beach Auditorium. It's torn down. In the back room, they used to film the Don Kirshner rock concert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they have that here? There's this thing called Don Kirshner's rock concert.
He invented the
It
monkeys.
was kind of like, I don't know what it was like. Well, it's kind of Top of the Pops, or kind of like super, what's it called? Supersonic. Yeah, supersonic.
That's where we're playing in Paris.
Oh.
Sonic, I think.
Well, you know, you're kind of in the Mark Bolan's neighborhood.
Yeah, you were telling me, that's a bitch. Well, the first time I came to England with Minute and Black Flag, it was February of '83, it's snowing and cold, but I found out where the tree was on the south part of the river here. And a bunch of stuff was tacked on it.
Cool. So you didn't go to like Trafalgar Square, you went to the tree where Bolan did
Yeah, it was really important. And in fact, in those days there was no merchandise at the gigs, but there'd be bootleg guys a couple of blocks away. And they took what I think it's Ride a White Swan, and they cut Mickey Finn out. It was just it was $2, and it's the first rock guy I had on the bulkhead of mine.
Oh.
Very confident. So it's kind of more than John Fogerty is a rock.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Idol.
Inspiration.
So you were a huge T-Rex fan.
Yeah. Which was trippy because he wasn't that big in the U.S.
I can't imagine. Yeah, he wasn't, but I can't imagine, especially in San Pedro, which is a very working class, south of L.A. kind of harbor town.
Biggest one out there.
That T-Rex was not really, really taken to by most of the people your age.
No. Girls who went to Hollywood liked
Bobby.
And Roxy and yeah.
Did you see those guys?
No, I didn't.
You told me. What I think is fascinating is that when you were a teenager, you had access to seeing so much of what was going on in the early 70s rock and roll world by having access to these television tapings that were going on, where there'd be like...
I saw Mark Bolan on a Star, it wouldn't come up.
He comes up on the Star.
Yeah, but it wouldn't come up.
I saw that.
You know, they had guys with signs that said applause and shit like this. They take these things.
Yeah.
It's kind of corny.
No, it blows my mind because we're the same age, but I remember living in like a rural small town in Connecticut and watching that on television, and to think that you could actually be there. Which is
they needed a pad to somebody in the audience. Right?
Well, I know they needed somebody in the audience, but I didn't realize you were in the audience.
And Long Beach is I was there.
And D. Boone also used to go with you.
Yeah, of course.
Your parents used to take you and drop you off there.
His pop sat with us at the gig. His pop was from Nebraska and didn't know anything about it. And there was Hare Krishnas sitting in front of us with partners. It was a trip. The thing we didn't know until the movement was clubs. Had no idea about it.
That there was bands that played in clubs.
Yeah, the whole idea, that whole thing,
Yeah.
where people could sit this close.
Yeah. Well, how did you discover that?
The movement.
The what? The movement.
Yeah, there was, me and D. Boone was jamming with a friend of ours named Mark Wasser, and like Tie Your Mother Down and Dust in Your Wind, whatever, copying, because you copied songs on records. You know, the best guy in town was the guy who could play Black Dog the best. No one used music for expression. It was all about
Having the skills to play Black Dog.
keggers. There was no club, there was no local thing you could play. I found out with 125 Months with the Stooges that there was all kinds of this in the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm 13 in 1970, and the arena rock,
It kind of takes over.
the Nuremberg Rally paradigm. And so we're copying songs, and this drummer turns out to be Jeff Avisovich, but you probably know him as Nicky Beak. He's the drummer of the Weirdos. We come out for a breather, we're sweaty, and he's wearing a Kotex around his neck, and his hair is all out. And he says, you know, there's a scene up in Hollywood where people write their own songs. And we went up and saw the bags. That's how.
Oh, and Nicky B was he's a Stampede.
Weirdo. Yeah, he's actually.
He's the only kid walking around with a Kotex wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, he's probably visiting home, right? He's probably living up there at that time. You know, I never got to talk to him about this.
He
turned us on.
He's not alive anymore.
No, he's alive.
He's alive. Sorry.
He's still sorry.
This is not going to be on YouTube.
He's still around. And it was very profound because it changes our whole. It's a sea change for me, big time. Mark went on to deal cards in Las Vegas. Really nice guy, though.
Nicky B wasn't he in the Cramps for a second?
I think so. That's right. Kay played with him in the Monsters, the band with Stan Lee and Darby. Little short-lived thing.
So, to go back to something you were saying earlier about playing bass and not really realizing that it was any different than the guitar, but it was. And, it kind of makes me think about in that time, again, people our age and late 70s, early 80s, like getting involved with playing in bands, and choosing the bass and playing the bass from a point that's like kind of ground zero. And you kind of approach.
I didn't choose it.
Well, it's kind of in your hands.
Yeah.
Sort of, the thing is,
I'm very grateful to her. She passed away when we were 18, and she was a huge pillar. It was a huge blow. The first time I learned how to lose somebody, it was very, very difficult.